take your Bibles and turn to the Gospel of Luke, chapter 16, verses 19 through 31. Tonight we'll be looking at another one of the parables of Jesus. Jesus is famous, if you will, for his teaching methods. One of the things he did in an extraordinary way was to teach by the medium of parables. We've already looked at a few parables, and we're going to continue on tonight with the rich man and Lazarus. Incidentally, I might mention this, that through the years there have been some question about whether the rich man and Lazarus should actually be classified as a parable. There's people on both sides of the argument, if you will. There is something that's unusual, at least one thing that's unusual about this teaching from Luke chapter 16, and that is that in no other instance where Jesus was teaching the parables that he used a specific name, and he does so here, which has given some the idea that perhaps Jesus here is speaking about a certain case, certain specific individuals that he was aware of. And certainly if these individuals, Jesus knows everybody, he knows he's God. And so it stands to reason that Jesus would know these people, and they were truly individuals that had lived, walked on the earth. And certainly the events that are described are true to life. There have always been those who were wealthier and those who were poor. And so this is nothing extraordinary as we think about the background of this, or what he's drawing from teaching. Again, the rich man and Lazarus, we're going to pick up here in Luke chapter 16, verse 19 through 31. There was, I'll be reading the English Standard Version, there was a rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen, and who feasted sumptuously every day. And at his gate was laid a poor man named Lazarus, covered with sores, who desired to be fed with what fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, even the dogs came and licked his sores. The poor man died and was carried by the angels to Abraham's side. The rich man also died and was buried. And in Hades, being in torment, he lifted up his eyes and saw Abraham afar off and Lazarus at his side. And he called out, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus to dip the end of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am in anguish in this flame. But Abraham said, Child, remember that you in your lifetime received your good things, and Lazarus in like manner bad things. But now he is comforted here, and you are in anguish. Besides all this, between us and you, a great chasm has been fixed, in order that those who would pass from here to you may not be able, and none may cross from there to us. And he said, Then I beg you, Father, to send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brothers, so that he may warn them, lest they also come into this place of torment. But Abraham said, They have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, No, Father Abraham, but if someone goes to them from the dead, they will repent. He said that, if they do not hear Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded or convinced if someone should rise from the dead. So think about the background to this parable. Jesus had earlier been speaking to the Pharisees about some matters concerning money, riches, and they had sneered at Jesus with reference to something he had said previously concerning this matter. They were people that often put their confidence in material things rather than placing their utmost confidence in God. And so this is the background to which Jesus gave this parable to them as sort of, in a sense, a rebuke to them because of their position, their standing, their mindset toward materialism. What do we know about the rich man? As we think about verses 19 through 22 especially, what do we know? What are some things that we know about the rich man relative to his life among men? What are some things that are true about the rich man Jesus described here in this teaching? What do we know about the rich man? Okay, so he was very wealthy. He wore fine clothing, the best. He ate. As he sat down to the dinner table, he ate sumptuously. He had plenty. He had the delicacies. He had the best that there was to have on his dining table. Anything else that we know about this individual? Okay. So he may have lived in something akin to a mansion that we sometimes see today. He was an individual that, his wealth would have been something very noticeable to his peers, to his neighbors. It certainly was the case to those who brought this man, the poor man, the beggar, to his gate. Anything else you think about this man? What was it? I don't think it necessarily implies that he was, right. It just means he was able to afford, if you will, the finest. He's not presented here, at least, in Jesus' teaching as being of some nobility or some kind of prince, king, etc. But he was a rich man. And of course, as you mentioned, purple, that was oftentimes the color of those that were as kings and such. So, okay, he had 5 brothers. Anything else? All right, so these are some things that we know about the rich man. He was a man who was very wealthy. What was his focus? What does his focus seem to have been? Okay, would you say he's focused upon spiritual things? Is he focused upon God? Is he focused upon his fellow man? Okay, he's not focused upon being a blessing to his fellow man. Under the old law, God wanted his people to do what? With reference to those who were oppressed or those that were less fortunate. We saw earlier, we talked about the man that asked, good master, what must I do to inherit eternal life? And Jesus asked the man, what does the law say? And he said, well, you're to love God with all your heart, mind, and strength. And the second was namely to what? To love your neighbor as yourself. That was the second commandment, if you will, encapsulated. These 2 commands, to love God and to love your neighbor yourself, this sort of was representative of all the law, concerning the responsibilities that the people of God had toward both God and a fellow man. So would you say that this rich man was the person that loved his neighbor as himself? Not at all. He did not love his neighbor as himself. He was more concerned about his selfish gratification, wasn't he? Does Jesus suggest that all rich people will be lost? Or does the Word of God ever teach that they will? God doesn't teach that. There's a number of wealthy men and women in the Scriptures, and God doesn't teach that wealth will cause you to be lost. But Jesus did on one occasion teach what about that? Okay? The love of money is what? It's the root of all evil. He talks about how hardly shall they that have riches enter into the kingdom of God. So it's something that can be a disadvantage. It can be an hindrance. It can make it harder for an individual to be pleasing to God. They put their trust in those material things. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me ask you this. What is the point that Jesus is making? Saying what about the camel? Difficult. That's right. That's the point that he's making. Right. Right. Exactly. You're right. It is possible. With God, all things are possible, as you mentioned there again.
And we'll point that out.
Right.
It also depends on the free will of the rich man. He's certainly not condemned by any means because he well to do. But the things that condemn a rich person would be, do they use it to glorify God or glorify themselves instead of that being consideration?
The choices that we make in this life is the determining factor.
That's what I was asking, if you'd ever heard what I just said.
There's different things that have been suggested along those lines.
I don't remember where I read it, or it's something I just got it in my mind.
I don't remember that exact story, but anyway, that may well be that may well be the case. Let's proceed here with the beggar. What do we know about the beggar relative to his life among men?
Correct opposite contrast to the rich.
Okay? There's a great contrast that's drawn between these two men. What do we know? Okay, so he was laid at this man's gate. What does that indicate about him? He was laid at the man's gate. What does that indicate? Okay? That seems to indicate that he was lame. That he was unable, he didn't have mobility. He had to have assistance. Okay? He did have sores. What else do we know about him? He was hungry. He was hungry. He didn't have, no doubt, he didn't have the adequate clothing that the rich man had. So the two conditions were extreme, polar opposite. He was hungry. He needed medical attention. And what does it say about the dogs? They would come and lick his sores. I did a little reading about that today. And, it's sort of a catch-22. Dogs be dirty, right? So, but it's been suggested possibly for some medicinal benefit seems that we could say that the dogs were showing possibly more compassion than the people and this rich man. The rich man had the means, the wherewithal to provide cleaning of the wound, but no. Anything else? What else do we know about the beggar? So he was hungry, he was laying at the gate, he was covered with sores, he desired to be fed with what fell from the rich man's table. So we're talking about crumbs, we're talking about scraps. It says that he desired. Does that indicate that the rich man actually was generous and shared his table scraps with him? I don't think so. It might be that there was some servant in the house that knew this guy was out here, and maybe he took the leftovers to him. It says that he desired to be fed. That doesn't mean that he was actually fed with those crumbs. Right? Just because you have a desire for something doesn't mean that your desire is fulfilled. He desired to be fed with the crumbs that fell from the rich man's table.
The fact that he was in the bosom of Abraham certainly indicates that he was right with God.
Okay.
Contrast.
Okay. So, let's see here. We'll perhaps talk a little about that in a moment. Does Jesus suggest that all poor people will be saved? See, some people can take this teaching of Jesus and say, I infer from this that rich people are going to be lost and all poor people are going to be saved. That's not what Jesus was teaching. There are many rich people that will be saved, and there are many poor people that will be lost. But as David mentions here in reference to this man, there was something more about him than simply the fact that he was a poor beggar and he was suffering in this life. So, here. Is the condition of our present life an indication of our condition in the world to come? No, it's not. Describe the contrast between the rich man and Lazarus in the Hadean realm. As we talked about in this life, let's now go to the other side. Let's talk about the contrast there between these two. What kind of contrast is it? Okay, now Lazarus is being comforted in Abraham's bosom. The rich man is what? He's in anguish. He's in extreme agony. Okay?
I would say it's the exact same contrast as when they were on earth, but it's just reversed. And that they were both the extreme of either case, and now it's reversed in the age.
And I agree with that, but as you think about perhaps the fact that when we get to the other side, I would suggest that the blessing of Lazarus in Abraham's bosom would exceed the physical that the rich man experienced here. And also the bitterness, the agony, the punishment, how bad it was for Lazarus here, it was far worse for the rich man. Anything else there on that connection, Bert?
Yes, sir. As we bring that out as was comparison or observation of the blessings, if we're not careful, we will look at it in the sense of as Lazarus lived, he wasn't blessed. And the rich man was blessed. However, we know that God has control over all of that. The rich man was, in fact, being blessed in the sense of him going after things without God, and Lazarus from this manner
something that I think it was Brother Day taught back in our class in Job back several months ago. This idea that when we are blessed, so we have these two individuals. We have Abraham, and the way that the philosophy that so many have. Here's Abraham on the one hand. He is so blessed. He has every want supplied. Here's Lazarus, who is such a pitiful condition. The people in that day often thought in terms, just like Job's friends did, what you done? You're a sinner, right? And no doubt there were people, maybe this rich man as well, but no doubt people of that day thought that God is punishing this poorly beggar, miserly man, this man Lazarus, because of some transgression. He's really offended God. Is that the case? Lazarus had not offended God. Was God blessing this rich man because he had his favor in a spiritual way? Obviously not. So we can't think in terms, David, sorry. So we can't say because one person is wealthy that God is smiling at that person. God is happy with that person. That person must have a ticket to heaven. The two do not, there's no correlation there.
Certainly, God blesses us while we're on this earth, and He brings punishment while we're on this earth as well. But the blessings He brings while on this earth are not always in materialistic ways, but are in ways that are associated with what we're able to handle and deal with through God and life. And the same with knowledge and wisdom, but the ultimate, of course, is the judgment.
I would say also that don't discount the fact that Lazarus was not being less spiritual than he was, as well as physically. We don't always understand problems because we can't articulate each and every one. But if you look at it on the surface, the rich man and the poor man, really, I mean, the dogs licked his sores. I believe that was medicinal. I believe that he wasn't underneath the table of some rich man. I think it was out with the garbage, his own private garbage heap outside, where the servants would throw the garbage, which is the best garbage that we could have if we were a beggar. He desired that, but he was out there where all these dogs were waiting on him to throw that out. That's where they consume their garbage and stuff like that, unless they burn it. He was out there with the dogs waiting for someone to throw something out there, and he was hoping to get it. That's a blessing if you cannot get up and go feed yourself if you don't have anything else. That's a blessing. Now, there are other blessings that we don't know, but the greatest blessing of this man that kept him under control despite his condition was he waited on the Lord. He had confidence that God was going to take care of him. And we can't miss that because if you turn level and say, this guy was blessed because he was rich. This guy wasn't blessed. Look at him. Well, if you look at him the way God looks at him, then, some of it was okay. He was really blessed. More so than the guy that was fat cat on all these materials.
Girl said, I hope that everybody can hear what I was saying. Did y'all hear him? Back? Just shaking. Yes. So, Many was saying that the poor man, while he was poor, he was still being blessed by his God. We don't need to lose sight of that. One of the things I want us to look at here in this teaching is how personality is not destroyed by death. Personality is not destroyed by death. When we think about personality, some of the things that Jesus talks about concerning these two men, concerning feeling, the capacity to feel, knowing, seeing, reasoning, and remembering. All of these were faculties that these men physical body on this side, these things continue. There was this conversation between Abraham and the rich man. Remember, son, remember it in your lifetime. You received all these good things and Lazarus evil things. I think it's interesting too here in passing, I mentioned this, that he called him son. Son, remember in your lifetime. People today say that if you're a son, then you're good. You're a son. You're a son, you can't lose your inheritance, etc., etc. Here's a man that Abraham recognized as son, and yet he was lost. Jesus here teaches against soul sleeping and annihilation of the soul. Soul sleeping is the concept, the idea that when you die, that all these things we just talked about, feeling, knowing, seeing, reasoning, remembering, you don't have any of that function or capacity. You're just asleep. You're sort of like a bear maybe in the winter. Those capacities are in hibernation, but that's not the case. We do not lose our awareness. We continue to retain our identity. The soul is not annihilated, but it does not go out of existence because the physical man perishes. So we see here in this case, Jesus always deals with the truth, with things as they truly are. And we believe that Jesus always represents reality in his teaching. And we see that both the rich man and Lazarus, though they were physically deceased, they continued to live. They continued to exist. They continued to have their being. And one was being comforted and blessed, and one was being punished. So personality is not destroyed by death. Another point I want to make here is that no one who's lost wants their loved ones to join them. No one is lost. Sometimes people think, so-and-so that's gone before me. I know that the reason that they weren't saved, I'm going to go join them. People say, I'm not going to obey the gospel. I'm not going to be a Christian because I'm going to go be with my father, my mother, or somebody that was lost. You don't know right. You don't want to be there, and they don't want you to be there. And such was the case with the rich man. He said to Abraham, send Lazarus, then go speak to my 5 brothers. I don't want them to come where I am. No one should ever want to be lost. If someone before us has been lost, we don't want to. There's not going to be a reunion of sorts. It's not going to be a time of sitting down at the table and reminiscing and enjoying, thinking about old times. It's not going to be any type of a party, a celebration, be, quote, reunited with loved ones who were lost, who have gone before us. It's not going to be any type of visiting and enjoyment. Another point from 27 to 31 is that the Word of God is sufficient to convert sinners, turning them to the right path. The Word of God is adequate. The Word of God is sufficient. When Abraham denied the rich man's request to send Lazarus to cool his tongue with just a tip of water off his finger, he said, well then, send Lazarus that he might go testify to them that they don't come where I am. Abraham says they have what? They have Moses and the prophets. Abraham had complete confidence in the message of Moses and the prophets that would cause these 5 brothers to avoid this place of torment. What about another man by the name of Lazarus? In John chapter 11. Jesus raised him from the dead. What kind of impact did that have on the unbelieving Pharisees and Jews? What did they want to do? Well, they wanted to kill Lazarus. They wanted to kill him. They didn't properly believe in him. And so, there's not going to be any miracle after death that's going to prompt belief and save one's soul. The Word of God is sufficient. They had Moses and the prophets. Time has changed. Christ has come on the scene. God the Father said of His Son, "This is my Son, hear Him." Matthew chapter 17, on the Mount of Transfiguration, you have Jesus and Peter, James, and John with Jesus, and you have Moses and Elijah. Moses and Elijah there, and but Peter suggested we make 3 tabernacles. And God said, "This is my Son, hear Him." So today we have Christ, we have the message of the apostles, we have the written, complete Word of God, New Testament. So today, the parallel to that would be, we have Christ and the message of the Word. We have the apostles. And it is sufficient. It is adequate to turn men from their evil ways to God. Any additional comment you'd like to share with reference to that? Or anything that's been said so far? Yes.
Interesting way. See, the rich man not showing common, decent human respect for Lazarus after his gate. He didn't even do it in the afterlife. There, Lazarus, you have made the paradise. He's there. What's he saying? Send him on back to earth and one of my brothers. Lazarus said, "What did I do with him? I made him."
It wasn't in the plan of God. This is not the way God works, is it? What? Yes, Russ.
Lazarus, one of the rich man on Lazarus go back. So that the rich man finally realized the value of
Yeah, there's a lot of eyes that are opened once they cross the other side. Yes.
Well, for two, I think we need to understand that since, as you mentioned, the gospel is God's plan to save man in this life, after this life is over, there will be no post-mortem sermons.
No sermons on the other side. Jesus is not going to be preaching to us on the other side, trying to move us to faith and obedience. Right now, this is our time of opportunity to hear the gospel, to believe God's message, His testimony, and to do good, to allow God to work through us. What are some things the rich man could have done to have experienced a better outcome? The rich man, at least a couple of things. What could he have done to have experienced a different afterlife? Okay, you could have shown mercy, compassion, you could have cared for others. What else? Okay, so the same thing that Abraham is saying now to the rich man, they have Moses and the prophets. Let them hear them. The rich man had Moses and the prophets too while he lived on the earth, right? He had access to Moses and the prophets. What did he do with it? So, if the rich man had Moses and the prophets to no avail, he still ended up in torment. What does it say to us, having the Bible, having the Word of God? You and I have every advantage which we have every opportunity, we you and I be able to excuse ourselves. I didn't know. I didn't know your will. I didn't know what you want me to do. I didn't know that you would show compassion. I didn't know that you wanted me to treat others as I would be treated. Yes.
Not only when someone was trying to basically make an excuse that I'm just going to trust the grace of God in the end. I mentioned Titus 2:11 that the grace of God teaches us even today in His present time, not ungodliness or worldly lust. It is a mistake to think that God's grace is cheap, where He will offset or set aside His word that is sufficient to save man to become a respected person to save you because you trust in cheap grace. God's grace is cheap. And God is not going to save us some other way. This is the other way.
Along that line, God can't be manipulated. God cannot be manipulated. You won't be manipulated on this side, you won't be on the other side. No one, not even an angel, can bridge the chasm between the blessed and the punished on the other side. No one can bridge that gap. If we find ourselves in a place where we don't want to be on the other side, your destiny is sealed, is fixed. There's no angel, there's no deliverance, there's no one, not even Jesus. Jesus is not going to bridge that chasm. Then another thought is from verse 31, God will have the final word. God has the final word. People today can teach their false doctrines. They can lead people astray. But there's coming a judgment day. There's coming a day when all of us will give an account. We can't avoid it. God has the final say. The rich man wanted to say to Abraham, he wanted to control the situation. Maybe in this life, he had to control the situation. But on the other side, he wanted to control the situation. He wanted to tell Abraham what to do. Don't work. We may manipulate people on this side. We cannot manipulate God. God has the final say. We'll be judged by His word. His word stands. We can argue if we want to, we're blue in the face. The truth is still the truth. Righteousness is still righteousness. Light is still light. Any discussion about that? Yes, sir.
So, sir, what you're telling us is things that we do in this life determine where we wake up dead, right?
Exactly right.
Because as you look at the rich man, he woke up and he realized that he was in torment, but he woke up from death. We see that Lazarus was there, he was carried, to the side of Abraham, or to the bosom of Abraham. And it gives indication that after death, there is something else. And so, when we wake up dead, where will we be?
Where will we be? What do you think about right now? What is the path that you're on? Where does it lead? Appreciate your attention this evening, your participation. Okay.
Right is always right, wrong is always wrong. Wrong is never right, right is never wrong. And that is right because God is right. Carpe diem.
Exactly right. God is always right, and it's never right to do wrong, it's never wrong to do right.